Buongiorno a tutti, benvenuto a episodio 10. Buongiorno Marco,
Buongiorno Martin, come stai oggi?
sto molto bene, grazie.
Terribile. That's bad because we need to talk about pains. So you we need a pain here.
Oh,
No,
mi fa male, mi fa male.
great. There we go. That's better. That's better. Ok, anche io sto bene e spero che tutti state bene. I hope that you all are doing good. Com'è il tempo in Inghilterra, Martin?
Oh, il tempo, can I say molto brillante? That's Spanish, isn't it?
Molto bene, although
Il,
for the
il
weather I would say
sole,
molto
what's,
bello.
what's the, how do you say the sun is shining? Il sole
Brilla, you could say.
brilla,
Sì,
il sole brilla,
sole
il
brilla.
sole brilla moltissimo,
Fantastico.
perciò mi fa
Bene.
male la testa.
Ah, you're not used to it.
No, this is it. I can't cope with the bright sunshine.
Makes sense, makes sense. Anyways, how about we start with the answers to last week's questions?
Seems like a good idea. Generally, we
Mhm.
forget to do that, so let's
Correct.
do that. So the first question was, what is the name of the bread that Martin bought? And it was come l'animale.
Sì,
And do you remember what the animale was?
it was la tartaruga. Mhm.
Tartaruga. That is absolutely true. Yes. In Dutch, that's schildpadden.
Nice. You speak Dutch?
In beetje Netherlands. Um,
Okay, I assume that's a
yeah.
yes.
I don't know why it is that Duolingo teach you the name of a turtle really like near to the start of every course.
Interesting. I never noticed that. I didn't take enough courses on Duolingo. But yeah, the
Mm,
tartaruga is the turtle. But we call them that because the bread has that shape that looks like the
mm,
back of the turtle. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's got these little things,
yeah.
just like like the
Yeah,
shield
I know
of
exactly
turtles.
what you mean. And as
Okay.
soon as you say it, you know what it is. And I think that we call it, maybe we call that giraffe bread. I don't know, which is a
Oh,
similar thing.
giraffe bread. Okay, so we're all about animals, different ones.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Interesting.
The second script was how do we call, or what do we call, how do we say a light beer?
Mhm.
And that was una birra bionda.
Sì,
See?
o una birra chiara. I guess both work.
Oh, I see Chiara. Yeah, of course. Chiara is the blonde one, isn't it? The light beer.
Mhm.
And what size did Martin order? He ordered a media,
Sì.
which
So,
obviously is not piccola and it's not grande. It's in the middle. It's medium. Media.
correct. Very well done. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see. So, what are we going to talk about today, Martin?
One of the problems that people have when they're overseas is that sometimes they fall ill, whether
Yes.
that's through an accident or whether it's an accident, un incidente, is it?
Un incidente, molto bene.
Yeah. Or whether it's self-inflicted through enjoying themselves through festeggiare too much. Either way, sometimes people need to visit a farmacia or a
Mhm.
dottore,
Mhm.
and what they may have to do is negotiate some form of vocabulary and explaining what hurts and why and what the cure could be.
Very good, very good. So this is going to be the old people class. My back hurts, my head hurts, that's going to be what's up today. And I think it's interesting because I don't know in Dutch, but in all the languages I've ever looked at, body parts are always weird. They're always irregular. Like in English, 1 foot, two
Mm,
feet. Why is it not 2 foots? It makes sense. It's easier.
mm.
Why is it feet? And in every language, body parts are just weird. Weird stuff happens. So I don't know what's up. So, what body parts do you think are especially important? Could be going wrong if you're abroad? What could hurt? Would you say?
I think mainly as a world we tend to suffer from headaches, don't we?
Very good. Yes. And so I think it's interesting to say first of all, how do we say ache in Italian, like pain? Because it's we have a couple of ways to say it, and I think the easy one is to say dolore. Dolore
Mhm.
means pain. But do you have a word similar to dolore in English to mean pain? I don't think so.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No, that's a
Right.
really interesting question.
Anyways, dolore, il dolore, the pain. So you could just say ho dolore, for example, and then point to your head or point to your hand. And if your head is killing you, just ho dolore, point to your head, and then they're gonna know
Mm.
what's up.
I have pain. Oh,
Correct.
dolore,
Correct.
dolore. Yeah, okay.
But let's say that you want to be very fancy now in a pharmacy, in a pharmacia, as you said, and you don't want to just say
Mm.
pain and point to your head like a caveman. You want to actually elaborate a sentence. So, do you know how to say when something hurts? Like, I have a headache in this case.
Yeah, the expression that I remember, hopefully, is mi fa male.
Very good. Mi fa male is correct. Mi fa male, for
And,
example, la testa, as we will see in a second. Mi fa
mhm.
male la testa.
Ma mi fa male la testa. And
Very
is
good.
male badness?
Yes, male could be evil, could be badness. It's the same word for us. There's no difference. So,
Evil, right? So
and
this is it's almost harking back to like pagan times, then, isn't it? When there are evil spirits in my head.
that you're probably not wrong. I wouldn't say yes because I have no idea. But I think it's an interesting way of saying it if you think about it. Mi fa male. So la testa subject makes me bad. It sounds very funny to
Mm,
me. I don't know. Me to me, fa makes or does, male bad makes me bad or does me bad. I don't know. It's it's
mm.
it's cute.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one. That I like that when you explain it like that. I'd not really considered it like that. It's like you've got no control over it whatsoever, which I guess you haven't.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think it's this very sounds very childish in a way, you know. But
Yeah.
yes, that's the way we say it. Mi fa male è la testa, feminine now. Now we know we can say feminine. Our friends are not gonna be scared. La testa is the head.
Hmm. La testa,
Very
the head.
good. We can maybe have a quick look at what's in the head of a person. So the main body parts here.
I know what's in the head of a person. It's il cervello.
I was gonna say nothing, but I guess il cervello is a more acceptable answer. Very good. Il cervello, yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and one of the reasons why I wanted to quickly talk about body parts today. Whenever we go to organs, languages really share a lot of words. So we've talked about muscle names. I have no idea how you
Mm.
say a muscle name in English, but if I hear it, I know because it's the same word in Italian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
besides testa, which the super used ones, but if you do talk about muscles and organs, often the name is very similar. So that's usually easy to
I think
understand.
that's probably because most of them come from the Latin, don't they?
Yes, Latin, a lot of them, and many from Greek, even more
Mm.
commonly for body parts and diseases as well. A lot of Greek involved. I guess they were
Yeah.
the first doctors, so to speak, in the
Yeah.
Western world. But yeah, il cervello, the brain, nella testa. And let's see, how would you say, for example, eyes, nose, and mouth?
Well, mouth is one I always remember because it's very similar in quite a lot of languages. It's la bocca, isn't it?
La bocca, yes, in Italian that has two C's,
Yeah.
Bocca. Very good.
And then the eyes and the ears, I always get mixed up because they're quite, I mean, orecchie are ears, aren't they?
Orecchie is ears, correct.
And I remember that because of the pasta.
Uh-huh, very good. Orecchiette, yes, it's a typical pasta from Puglia, from the from the hill of Italy, so to speak.
Mm. And then
Yes.
for some reason, I can only think of the German for eyes. So I'm going to ask you, what eye? What
Too
are
many
eyes?
languages parting for you. You're getting confused here. So eyes is one is occhio.
Ah, occhio.
There you go. Yes.
Sì,
So
occhio della testa. Yeah,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
very common expression in Italian. Costa un occhio della testa,
Mm.
which loosely translates to it costs an arm and a leg. It's very expensive.
Mm. Except it's an eye of the head.
Which is is it worse? I don't know. What's no? I guess the arm and leg is worse. Yeah, if I had to choose, I'd probably choose an eye.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you could cope without an arm and a leg. I'm not sure you could cope without an eye in your head.
I mean, they're both very expensive. I don't think I would buy anything for that kind of price. But
Right. Well, if you were buying some glasses, then you wouldn't want them to cost an eye of your head, would you?
Well, then you would just need to buy one glass. That's cheaper.
Monocle.
But yeah, I guess it's
Very good.
interesting. But in both cases, obviously, very expensive. It costs an organ, piece of you. So
Mm.
it makes sense, I would say. So
Yeah.
yeah, un occhio and due occhi.
Due occhi. So occhio and
Hmm.
occhi. And that's just
Yes.
one I in occhi then.
Occhio is one, occhi is two.
Yeah. Do you play darts?
No.
The line that you stand at to
Okay.
throw the darts, that's called the occhi.
What? Why?
Absolutely no idea.
But interesting. Occhi. How do you spell that though?
Oh, do you know what? I can't even remember, but it's not spelt the same as an
Yeah,
I.
because occhio in Italian is Occhio, which in
I
English would sound
think
very
it's
different.
I think it's Oche.
So it's
It's just
actually quite
pronounced
similar.
occhi. Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Okay, so very good.
Hopefully,
So you know how to
hopefully
spell it.
people will write in. I don't know, but yeah, occhi and occhi eyes and something you throw a dart from.
Okay. And yeah, the one we need to say is il naso, the
Il
nose.
naso, sì, sì, il
Hopefully
naso.
your nose is not gonna hurt, but if you have to say maybe you have some rash or some allergy, that could be helpful. So gli occhi, the eyes, il naso, the nose, and la bocca, the mouth.
Hmm. And also, I think possibly another thing that might have pain is something that's inside your mouth, and that's the teeth, isn't it?
Very good. Yes. And in Italian, the teeth are not irregular English. Tooth, teeth. What's that about? Explain that to me. All upset. But no, it's fascinating. So many languages. We'll see some weird things happening in Italian in a second. Like the head is mostly okay, but
Hmm.
other body parts it's just weird. And in Italian, il dente, the
Hmm.
tooth, and i denti, the teeth.
Okay, so that's a noun that ends in an E that becomes
Correct.
an I in the plural. So il
Correct.
dente. So yeah, il dente and i denti.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yes, as you said, the singular ends with an e or e in English, which is the same as
Hmm.
cane, for example, dog. It's the common way in which singular in e usually is a plural in I. It's very common. Il cane, I cani, il dente, i denti.
Okay, and then moving down, you can have mal golla.
Gola, very good.
Gola.
See,
Right.
gola
Okay,
is
gola.
throat.
The throat. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. And
and
the il collo. Il collo is the neck, is it?
il collo is the neck.
You can have neck ache.
Neck ache. That sounds funny. Yes. How would you say then? My neck hurts. Like we already said how to say ache. So how would you say neck ache?
Mi fa male il collo.
That's great. Mi fa male il collo. If it's your
Yeah.
neck, if it's your throat, mi fa male la gola. Also very common to hear.
Okay. Mi fa male la gola.
Good. I mean, not good, but correct.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
And let's see, since we're talking about nose and throat, I think the word for allergy is very important. If you're going to a restaurant, for example, you have to say, I'm allergic to, shellfish or peanuts. Like, you gotta know how to say that. Do you have an idea how you could say that?
I'm going to say oh, un'allergia.
That's great. Ho un'allergia. Allergia, double L, would mean allergy. Or another way you could say is sono allergico. I am allergic.
Ah,
It's the same.
sono allergico.
Yeah. So ho un'allergia o sono allergico alle noccioline. You're allergic to something in Italian, like in
Right,
English.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could you say sono allergico alla carne?
Alla carne, is that a thing? Yes, you can say that, definitely.
Sono vegetariano.
Sono vegetariano, that works. Or sono
Mm.
vegano, even more.
Vegana.
Sì.
I've not heard that before. Okay.
Sì. I guess they're the same in all languages because these newer words tend to be very similar in all languages.
Except in Welsh.
In Welsh, what is it?
Mm.
Right, we're going all over the place today. What is it like in
Well,
Welsh?
well, it's just that when you drive into Wales, if like let's say you're driving from like kind of Liverpool, Chester area, and you go across the border into Wales, all of a sudden you're hit by road signs that say things in Welsh and in English. And that's absolutely fine. I get that. But then when you come across one that says supermarket and underneath it there's a long word, or motorway services and underneath there's a long word, well, I'm sorry, but what did people do? Get like a Scrabble board and like just throw a load of letters down and think, there you go. That's the word for a motorway services.
Beautiful.
I know from Japanese that if it's a foreign word, then it's a whole different alphabet,
Yeah.
which to me makes quite a lot of sense. Um, and the word would just be, it would just sound the same in that alphabet. But quite why you would make words up.
I have no idea about Welsh because obviously, I've no idea about Welsh. But I know in Finnish. No, I'm joking. But in I think
Ah,
it's
terve, mitakulu.
that sounded like something very nasty you said there.
No,
I'm not.
I just said hello. How are you in Finnish?
Okay. Because that Kulu sounded like a
I
bottom
know, I
in
don't know. I have
Italian.
no idea what you're getting at. No idea what we're talking about in this
I have no
episode
idea
now.
either, but we're talking about body parts, I think, so we can go back
Ah,
to
that's
that.
right.
Right,
That's
right,
right.
right, right, right.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about the neck and the throat, so il collo and la gola. And
Hmm.
so far, everything is regular, but as we get, lower down, weird things happens. And I think the arms are one of the most interesting ones. Do you know how to say the arm?
Il braccio.
Il braccio. Do you know how to say the arms?
Well, it should be i bracci,
It
but
should be.
clearly it's not.
Correct.
Right.
It's,
Okay.
I'm gonna blow your mind. Le braccia.
Il braccio to le braccia.
It becomes
Wow.
feminine. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Il braccio, masculine noun, regular. Le
Yeah.
braccia, feminine. The plural is feminine. I don't
And
know
who are you
why.
going to blame for that?
The Romans, 100%. That's on them. Like, I'm not even gonna think about it. But I bracci we do have, but we just only use it for the machines. Like, when you build a
Right.
house, that's
Right.
you also call arm in English. For us, that's
Crane arm. Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And for us, that's in the plural I bracci. But you would say le braccia if it's body, if it's a limb.
Wow. Il braccio, le braccia. That's a mind twister, that.
That
Okay.
is that is weird. And also the hand is quite weird. Not, I mean,
Mm.
it's normal, but do you know how to say the hand? Let's do the hand and the hands.
Is it la mano?
La mano, yes.
Okay, so it seems like it should be masculine, but it's feminine. So it's la
Exactly.
mano. And then is it le mani?
Exactly, yes. La mano, one, le mani, two. So it behaves like a masculine, but it's a feminine. It ends in O in the singular and I in the
Yeah.
plural, but it's a feminine noun. Well, then hopefully you're never gonna have to say I have a heartache, because in that case you probably don't get to say it.
No,
But
possibly not.
to say the heart, obviously the word is il cuore.
Il cuore. Sì.
Yeah, pretty well known. And we spell it with a
Mhm.
C, not with a Q.
Yeah.
Maybe one day another thing we need to talk about is the C and the Q in Italian, because that's another handful. And the lungs, again, do you know how to say the lungs?
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure how you'd stagger into a pharmacy and ask someone if they can help with your lungs.
Well, let's say you're a smoker, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've smoked far too much and I can't feel my lungs.
No, I guess you do not need to say it as much. But since we did the heart, I polmoni would be the lungs, just for
Okay,
completeness.
so we have pulmonary arteries. So il polmone are the lungs, right? Okay.
Yeah. And as we get to organs that are less frequently used, I guess, English, Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, I'm going to assume, all these languages that are somewhat related, they kind of sound similar. I guess German
Mm.
as well, but I'm not going to get there.
Okay, so if you've had too many cigarettes and you've had too much alcohol, maybe your liver's hurting.
Liver, good.
Yeah.
Okay, it's il fegato.
Really? Il
Yes,
fegato.
il fegato.
Wow, I've
Yes,
never heard that before.
that is a weird one. And
Mm.
actually, in Italian, if you say of avere fegato, to have liver, literally, it means to be brave.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't know if
okay.
because you drank a lot and you're not scared of death or something, but it's avere fegato.
Quite a
Yeah,
Viking thing, isn't it?
it
Right,
sounds it
okay.
sounds pretty intense. I don't know who
Mm.
if I should blame the Romans or the Vikings for that, but
Yeah.
But yes, fegato, good.
I think
Uh,
you're more likely to have a stomach ache, aren't you,
that's
than a
hopefully more
liver or a
likely.
lung ache?
If you have a
Yeah.
problem with your liver or your lungs when you're in Italy, then you have a bigger problem than how to say that. But
Yeah.
its stomach is very simple. Lo stomaco.
See, lo stomaco. And that's one of those that comes with a lo because it's an ST
Correct, yes. We've never
prefix.
really talked about this much, but the article il changes to lo in a few selected cases. One of them is when it's st, when the noun is st.
And can I ask as well, just for clarification, if you were using the indefinite article there, would that be uno?
Correct.
So
Yes.
for every lo, it's uno.
Yes, so we can make an example. We said cuore, so un cuore, il
Mhm.
cuore, whereas for stomaco, uno stomaco, lo stomaco.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
I'm
You
good with
said it
that.
right. And I guess intestino could also be a problem.
Il testino. Yeah, it's not something I've suffered from, but yeah.
Intestino, well, intestines,
Intestino.
right.
Okay. So il intestino. The
L apostrofe, so l'intestino.
l'intestino. Right.
Yes,
Okay.
because with a
Yeah.
vowel. So whenever a noun begins with a vowel, always the article is L apostrophe.
Right. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
So that would then, for the plurals, if you had problems with your intestines, that would be gli intestini.
Yes, that would be gli intestini. But it's interesting you
Right.
say that because I think in English you say the intestines, you use it as a plural, right?
Do.
Right, we
It's true.
don't.
We do.
We use intestino, singular, although we have two, but we say intestino. And yeah, I guess we're done with organs that might
Hmm.
hurt, at
Hopefully.
some point.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
So I guess we're left with legs and feet. That's all we
Yeah.
need. Do you know how to
Hmm.
say either and or both?
Yes, because I like to eat shrimps and prawns and things. So a leg is una gamba.
Una gamba. That's also that's shrimp in Spanish though, because in Italian, if you want to say shrimp, it would be gambero.
Gambero.
Yes.
What are gamberini then? Are they baby ones?
Gamberini, I don't think I've ever heard. I've heard gamberetti. Uh,
Oh, gamberette.
yes,
Okay.
which are the smaller ones. Gamberi is just a general term and usually slightly bigger.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so la gamba, the leg,
La gamba.
il gambero, the shrimp. Just not to get confused. Because
Just
if you say my shrimp
yes.
hurts, I'm
Yeah.
going to make it. I'm going to understand something different,
Brilliant.
But yes, la gamba, le gambe, it's a regular feminine noun. And then, then for the foot, also regular, il piede, i piedi, just like we said before, ending in an e in the singular, in an I in the plural. Il piede, i piedi. So yeah, what else could you need? We said la farmacia. So okay, let's say you
Hmm.
wanted to know where the pharmacy is, Martin. How would you
Mm.
ask where the pharmacy is? That's probably useful.
I would say, scusa,
Mm-hmm.
c'è una farmacia qui
Perfetto.
vicino.
Benissimo. Yeah, you said more than you had to. That's great.
Okay.
C'è una farmacia. C'è means we may have seen this. Is there or there
Hmm.
is for us? It's the same. Is there a pharmacy? Una farmacia. Qui vicino, literally here close. So that's perfect. Yes.
Oh, I suppose dove la farmacia? Where's the pharmacy?
Yeah, dove, so dove apostrophe e, where is la farmacia? Slightly easier, I would say. That's less words, so that's fewer words.
And I
So
guess the easy way to find it is driving around and looking for a shop with a big green flashing cross outside it.
yes, okay. Because do you have that in England?
Well, kind of, but not in the same way.
So
So sometimes you do get that, but it's really clear in Italy.
it's interesting because yes, in Italy, okay, to be a pharmacy in Italy, you have to have authorizations. And whereas I think like in other countries you don't, and you can just sell medicines, you know, over-the-counter medicine, anybody can sell them. In Italy, no, you cannot even buy over-the-counter medicines at a supermarket. You can't. You have to be a pharmacy, and you will
Hmm.
find this big green cross, as Martin said, flashing, telling you the time, which is usually wrong, telling you the temperature, which you don't care about, but you know that's a pharmacy.
La Croce Verde.
La
Would that
Croce
be a Green
Verde.
Cross?
Great.
Right.
Yes. So, and the last one, in case you really have a problem and you need to go to the hospital, how can we say
Mm.
that? Hopefully, we don't have to, but
Ho bisogno di un ospedale.
great. Ho bisogno di, I have the need for, un ospedale. That's
Mm.
great. So, uh,
Chiamami un'ambulanza.
chiamami, call me,
Chiamami.
un'ambulanza.
Okay.
Great, yeah.
Un'ambulanza.
Great. Chiamami un'ambulanza. Call me an ambulance if things really go south, which they're not going to, but I think it's always good to be prepared for the worst.
Brilliant. Okay. And I suppose when we get there, we need to know that there's a dottore there, which is an interesting word in Italian because if you watch Montalbano, it's the like the guy who's the chief of police is the dottore.
Yes. Okay. So in any language, a dottore is two things: either medical doctor or someone who has a PhD.
Ah,
In Italy, no. As soon as you have your bachelor degree, you're a doctor, dottore, which I disagree with, but I don't call the shots here. And by extension, in general, especially if you're in a small town, anybody who studied somewhat is gonna be called dottore, as just someone who's wise, basically. Which dotto in Italian means wise, or someone who knows, studied stuff. So I guess it's used liberally because it works as a word of its own in Italian, I guess in Latin, but yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's so unlike everywhere else, isn't it? That.
I agree, and it's very confusing whenever you get your first degree, your bachelor degree, they're gonna, you know, chant at you, call you doctor, and I guess for everybody else in the world, that's very confusing. How is that 20-year-old kid a doctor?
Especially if they're on a plane, because you sometimes hear them asking, don't you? Is there a doctor on board? They're
Right.
like, loads of kids would be putting their arm up, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're not going to, because
Yeah.
otherwise, all we
Quick,
said
over here,
today.
this man has a problem with his intestines.
Oh, no worries. I have a Bachelor of Arts.
Oh dear.
Well, in that case, all these words you just learned today are completely pointless because you're done.
Quality.
Anyways, yeah, I would say that's it, Martin. Can you think of anything else that we need to know about health and all that?
No, I'm happy with that. I've learnt a lot. Thank you.
Okay, so we will leave you to our little dialogo, our little script, or dialoghi, plural.
Mm.
And yes, thank you,
We,
Martin, for
we
being
we
here
should
today.
say before we go anywhere that this is episodio 10, so we don't know what we're going to do prossima, do we? We've not got anything agreed.
Right. So you guys let us know, everybody let us
Mm.
know what should we do next time. Please tweet at us at ItaliAndiamo, or just let us know otherwise. Let us know, would you like us to continue? Would you like us to do something more advanced, something less advanced? Would you like us to do a podcast in Welsh?
I don't think that's going to be possible, but I'm willing to give anything a try. Okay, so alla prossima, whenever that may be. Grazie a tutti, grazie Marco, arrivederci.
Ciao, a presto.
Buongiorno, vorrei un po' di formaggio.
Buongiorno, e quale formaggio?
Quello? Quanto costa?
10 euro al chilo. Oggi è in offerta e costa solo 8 euro.
Perfetto, vorrei 100 grammi, per favore. The question is, why is the cheese cheaper?
Buonasera.
Benvenuto alla farmacia Verdi.
Eh, Mi fa male la testa. Vorrei una medicina.
Certo, ibuprofene.
Va bene. Quanto costa?
La scatola da 10 costa 6,30 euro.
Mm. Posso pagare con la carta?
Certo. So, what is Marco's issue? And how much is the medicine?